is how you take a character into practice mode and find out what's good with them. You need to look for a couple of things first. When I'm learning a character, right, and that's why I'm using Fujin right here, because I'm going to do the 10-minute guide on him, and I don't play Fujin. So, like, I know basically what to do from fighting Fujins, but I don't fucking play them. So the first thing I usually do is I look at their mids, and I see if they have good mids. So I just go through the command list. Okay, this is a mid. All right, yeah, back one. We knew that, right? What else? Down one, that's always a mid. Okay, back two is a mid. Forward two is a mid. He's got forward three. That's a low. You can use it as a mid. That's sweep. And then forward four is also a mid. So when looking at it, so we got back one, we got forward two, we got back two, we got forward four, right? So I take a look at the mids and I look at the spacing and range for them, okay? So I look, okay, that's got good space. I have a mid that I can dominate the neutral from this range with this mid, right? So this is going to be my primary footsie tool. You want to find your longest ranged mid or a fast high, right? So like I look at my highs. Let's see, what are my highs? This is 10 frames. That's not fast enough. That's 12 frames. That's not fast enough. This is 11 frames. That's a standing 2. This is a standing 1. So he doesn't have any fast highs. His mids are on the slow end, but he's got good range. So I start with that, right? I start with this, and I start thinking of what I can do with these, all right? Can I special move cancel it? Does it have a string, right? It has a string. Can I cancel that? No, I can't. So I can only one-hit hit confirm with that, right? So a next mid, right? There's this, okay, but that has that follow-up. There's no other follow-up to it. This has pretty good range, right? So I can use that from here. Can I hit confirm it? I can, right? I can. Hold on, how you do that? Oh, I'm doing it too late. What the fuck? Why can't I get the fucking windy walk? There we go. Right? And I go on down the line to find my best mids. The reason why I start with mids is because mids have to be blocked, right? They can't be avoided. Lows can be kind of jumped over. Highs can be ducked. Overheads are usually slow. So you start with the mids. You find out what you can do with your mids and what ranges your mids are going to be effective. And then you just start piecing together what you're going to do outside of those ranges, right? So now that we've established that, like, this is a really good mid to use at this range, right? At this range, you want to use this one, right? And then from back here, we've got that, and we could use that as well, right? Now we're starting to piece it together. What are my confirmations? What are my, not confirmations, conversions, right? Okay, can I convert off this? Right, I can. Into the restand. Okay, once you start finding your mid-screen conversions, then you want to go through and find corner conversions. So then I go and, all right, well, let's see what kind of conversions we can get on the corner, right? And you go and you fuck around with those, doing it, first of all, off of your mids, right? What can I get off of my mids? You want to start with mids again. With jabs, a lot of people try to learn their combo routes with jabs. But I found that it's not often that you get an opportunity to land a jab. Usually it's like after jailing, or if you're going to do a raw jab in the neutral to catch them advancing, or as a punish. So there's not very many opportunities where you're going to be throwing the jab out to want to get your muscle memory down for jab combos. Just practice them, you know, here and there throughout your routine. But you want to really grind in your mid combos. And then you want to start grinding out your jump-in combos. And you want to find a combo off a mid, and you want to find a good combo off a jump-in for the mid-screen and the corner. And then that's what you want to work on for execution. As far as, like I said, with command list, you want to look at where your mids will cover you, and then start coming up with contingency plans to cover yourself at the ranges that your mids won't cover you. And then that's it. That's literally all you need to do to start learning a character. That's what I base my 10-minute guides on, right? Is just find like the best moves to do at the best ranges, and then find contingency plans for the ranges outside of there. So again, like I said, if we're playing mid-range, no, I don't want left, I want center, right? If we're playing mid-range and I'm using this, then I'm going to look for contingency plans. And I'm also going to be looking at opportunities and consequences, right? So we're using forward 4 as an example. This is -3. Okay, What if I want to extend? What is forward 4-3? Forward 4-3 is -7. Does have a flawless block gap, though, so I will keep that in mind. That's something that I would lab, right? Is there a flawless block gap? Make sure you find those in your strings. So now I know that with forward 4, it's a 16 frame startup mid, but it's got pretty decent range for what it is. I can get a follow-up. I can hit confirm for full combo. If I don't suck, right? Anyways. Now what do I do on block? Well, what is it on block? What is 4-4 on block? It's -3. What's the pushback? What is the pushback on forward 4, right? Is it pushed back far? It doesn't. I can start looking for flawless block opportunities. What about the other one? Boom. Okay, that's a lot of pushback. Going to be kind of hard to get a flawless block off of that. So if I go for the full fucking tomato, then maybe I'll back 1 or backdash and back 2, right? Backdash, back 2, backdash, back 1 if they're approaching, backdash forward 2 if they're going to backdash away. Like, so if I do this string, right, depending on what they do, if they're going to backdash, I'll do 4-3 to catch them, you know, and then if they're going to backdash, I'll do, or actually this is the opposite, right? So if they're going to backdash, I'm going to do back 2 to pull them back in, right? If they're going to forward dash, right, I can do forward 2 or I can do back 1. And then again, because those are mids you had already explored and hit confirmed off of, you're already going to have combos. So when I'm testing out things in the neutral, I don't really look for like, you know, can I convert into a combo off of this string and then practice the combo? I look at the first move in the string, right? Okay, I can use this at this time. And then depending on whether or not the situation calls for it, maybe I'll finish the string, maybe I'll stagger it, maybe I'll go for a combo. That's going to be on the branches of my decision-making tree, right? The idea is I did the move. Now these are the branches depending on what my opponent does. And I'm just going to fill in the blanks for each of those options, right? I'm going to put in a blank for if they jump, right? If they backdash, if they walk forward, if they press a button, and just go on down that until you have that for every move. And then after you do that for every move, start doing that against every character. Because remember, every character is going to be different, right? So once I have contingency plans and follow-ups, not setups. I don't like using the word setups. This is not set play, right? This is just neutral. This is basics. Once I have my follow-ups, then I start testing them against other characters, right? And then I try to interrupt. What I'll do is I'll set the computer to the character that I'm trying to learn, and I'll do my follow-ups, right? I'll do my setups and see if I can escape them and try to punish them. And then if I find a way to punish my character, then I go back to that character and try and figure out what I can do in that situation. It's like if I do this, right, and I'm fighting a character with a fast down 3 that has a lot of range, not every character will have that, so I'll have to have an answer for if I fight a character with a fast down 3 with a lot of range, right? Or if I just stagger it and I'm fighting Sub-Zero who has a 6 frame down 1 and I'm at -3, I'm going to take that into consideration depending on the matchup. You do that for every character. It's a long, tedious process learning a character. That's why I usually don't go through this process when I learn a character. When I learn a character, and that's like to master it, right? If it's a character I'm interested in playing for the long haul, then I will absolutely go through all of that and spend hours and hours in the practice lab just because I enjoy playing the character and I want to play it more. But if it's a character that I'm like exploring, that I just want to get a touch, right? I just want to feel out this character, see what they're all about, and then decide whether or not that's a character I want to pursue. What I'll do is I'll go and I'll find my good mids, I'll find my good hit confirms, I'll find ways to be safe, like all the stuff that I'm going to do for my character. But instead of learning matchups, I just go and play, right? I just find other members of my community or my friends, or I'll jump in Combat League, or I'll jump in casuals, and I'll just play, and then I'll experiment from there. It's always better to experiment on a moving target. Bruce Lee said it, right? Boards don't hit back. So I would always recommend when working on matchups, as good as practice mode is a tool for when you have no one with you, right? If you think about it in terms of martial arts, like you're not going to spar with a heavy bag when you have sparring partners, because you're going to get more value out of sparring with a partner than you would a heavy bag. You only use the heavy bag when you don't have a partner. Like nobody goes to the gym and says, I'm going to spend 5 hours on the heavy bag if there's people around, it's like, well, shit, I could hit the heavy bag and work on my strength training, or I could just lift weights for a little bit and then spar with this guy, and then I'm getting my heavy bag workout, and I'm getting my mind, my fight sense, my ring awareness, right? So don't just sit there and get too caught up in the lab. I want you to be more encouraged and empowered to try stuff in against a moving target. And if you can communicate with your partner, hey, I'm trying to work on these follow-ups, they can do stuff. But generally, I find that to not be a good idea. I usually don't tell people when I'm working on something, when I'm trying it in the lab, and oftentimes it's against you guys, and that's why you guys see me do weird shit sometimes. I don't tell you what I'm trying to do because I want to see the actual reaction in the heat of the battle. If I tell you, okay, I'm going to do forward 4 and then practice my flawless block setup, right? Okay, then yeah, they'll sit there and practice it with me, but then I'm basically fighting the practice mode dummy. I told him, right? I programmed him to do what I wanted him to do, and now he's doing it. So there's very little value. I'm not taking advantage of my partner. I'm just basically, I have a breathing practice dummy. So I generally don't tell people. When I'm working on something, I don't tell them because I don't want them to know what I'm working on, because I want them to fight me and counter it. So that way, when I go into why do I have these names still up on my stream from the finals yesterday? But what I was saying is, when I go into a tournament match, I want to be prepared, right? Or a serious match. I want to be prepared. And the tech that I'm going to cultivate and the skills that I'm going to practice, I want them to be prepared for battle. Not prepared for practice mode, not prepared for, my buddy letting me hit him with my combo so I can get my execution. I want to be prepared for somebody that does not want me to do my shit. That's why it's so important, instead of living in the lab, is to go out and play other people. If you have an idea and somebody is there, this is why I keep saying whenever I'm playing with you guys and I fuck you up and then you're like, I need to go to the lab. And it's like, you shouldn't. That's the worst thing you should do, right? Because you're never going to get better combat practice, than you would with someone who was saying, no, I'm not going to let you. Because that makes your gears spin, right? Okay, he's not going to let me do this. Now I have to think about how I'm going to get this out, right? Now I have to think, holy shit, if he's not going to let me do this, what am I going to do to be able to do what I want to do? And that's the Yomi layers, and that's a good way to practice those. So spend time in the lab, but don't neglect playing with actual people. That's what I do when I'm learning another character. Again, if I'm in the long haul, then yeah, I'll absolutely spend a lot of time in practice mode. You have to. It's just what it is. If you're committing long-term and investing in a character long-term, then what does every hour matter? Like, if I'm going to play this character for the next year and I want to main this character, then an hour in practice mode is a drop in the bucket compared to the time investment I'm willing to put into that character. But for the short term, I wouldn't recommend doing a lot of that labbing. Just go and play people. At the end of the day, the only way to get good at Mortal Kombat is to play a lot of fucking Mortal Kombat. No amount of lab time is going to make that go away, right? I'm fucking messing up my words. Like, comment, subscribe, right?